Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin did drop out of the ascending broadening wedge yesterday. Yesterday you will have seen that already, and if you watched my previous video as well, and you will have been warned if you watched my videos for the last week basically, where we talked about risk is increasing up here. The chances for a setback are getting higher, and then in the last few days when Bitcoin was only trolling support, it was become much more likely. In addition to that, we saw on the chart this head and shoulders pattern, talked about that as well. That worked out very, very nicely in the end. And we even broke below target here. But the overall support area for the wave 4, is in this area anyway down there. So we're talking about the area between, basically 20K and 21,200. That's the area where we would like to see the price get into in an ideal case, and I think it should. I don't see any sign that this downtrend has stopped yet. So if we talk about the fibs again, then we can see that here. Let me just draw them correctly. And you can see that it is basically starting at 21.2K, this support area. I did mention to you before that here the 23.6 fib level was relevant to a degree, and that the wave 4 could have stopped there as well, but I decided not to highlight this as relevant support area because it would give you a massive support area, and in the end, we were in that range already, so it was pointless to give you that as sort of target / support area. More relevant was this deeper wave 4, which we finally get. I do not trust any shallow wave 4s, which is finally, therefore it's good that we finally see this little bit more substantial wave 4, which is currently happening here in yellow. It's been the theme for the last couple of weeks, do we really see finally this wave 4 this week? And yes, there you go. In time with the golden cross here, we see a sell-off, which is fantastic. I talked about the golden cross anyway and said don't pay too much attention to it. And we've now come down. We found support at the 21.8K level temporarily, bounced off a little bit. So let's take a look at the micro count. I'm going to go to the 30-minute chart. Came down off this high here, the 24,260, 270 level. We came down in sort of 5 waves. In a wave A, we moved up in a B wave, bounced off resistance. Again, here that was the 50% retracement at 23,440. And we've now come down further in this, what I believe is a wave C of 4. So in this wave C of 4, few ways of counting this, okay. My view is that this was a wave 1, this here was a wave 2, and we're now coming down in the third wave. Now there's another way of doing it. The reason I'm thinking about it is because this wave 3 here wasn't really long enough yet. Yeah, it wasn't really long enough yet. If I zoom in a little bit and I go to the 15-minute chart, we basically found support where we shouldn't have found support based on fib extensions and targets. If you look at let me see here, I think it worked out by measuring that wave 1, it worked out. Yes, that was long enough, but I can already count 5 waves down here in this little move, yeah. So we would have to assume that this is currently the white wave 4. Problem with that is we only reached the 1-to-1 ratio. Now, perfectly. That is a first key target for, a wave 3, but it's very, very shallow. So at the moment I'm going to move it here, this wave 1, 2. And then have this here. Let me see. This here as another wave 1. Fits a bit better into the entire picture. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we had, based on this, we still have this as a wave 4. So that all of this was part of the third wave, which works out as well. And then this is still the wave 4, we come down in 5, and that would fit much better with the overall proportions of the move. Yeah, the way this is going right now really looks like a wave 4. We talk about targets now for wave 4, and we talk about, so it looks a bit like we had an we've got an expanded flat of some sort. So first target for this wave 4 is the 23.6 fib, which was already reached. Ideal target would be 22,100, so don't be surprised if throughout the day we might reach that and maybe even get to 22.2k. So this area is still relevant that I communicated yesterday to you, this resistance area. Yeah? So I'm going to place a resistance box here again. We've already reached minimum requirement. This is resistance, this is not necessarily a target. Okay, so be aware that if it goes above that, then we might have to revise wave count, because then we're also at a point where this wave 4 nearly cuts into the wave 1 price region, which shouldn't happen. So expectations are either from here or from the resistance area to bounce lower in a fifth wave. Target for that fifth wave can be calculated by taking the length of the third wave and the first, go to the high of the fourth. Now I don't have a confirmed high of the fourth, yeah. So we need to see, but a key target here for the fifth wave in yellow would be 21.44k. That's the very first target. Second target would be 21.1k. And let's compare that to the 1.618 extension of the white count. So that was already reached anyway, but that target is not really useful because it's not a new low. So key targets based on the 200% extension here, that's the next target for the white wave 3, would be 21,490. That's pretty much in line with the 38.2 fib extension of the yellow count. So that's one way of, so we've got a bit of support here in the region around 21,000, I would say 440 to 490. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you a support area on the chart. It's not, it's an area where we see some kind of a reaction, not an area where we expect a major turnaround. So I actually make that only yellow. Then we've got the next area here between 21,200 and 21,000. So this would be the next area afterwards where we do expect some reaction. And that would, however, only be a target for the possible targets for the third wave here. Yeah? Then we should still see a fourth and another 5 down based on this count. I will observe that for you. Now, what we can also do is, let's see, we know the wave 1, we know the wave 3 in yellow, so we can attempt to draw a channel to a parallel with parallel lines. So when you know two wave peaks in Elliott Wave, you can estimate the target for the fourth by using this channel technique. So you connect waves 1 and 3 and you draw a parallel line, and then you start at the origin of wave 3, and this way you can sometimes come up with a target for a fifth wave. So let's see, for the fourth wave, yeah, and also for the fifth, by the way. And we just need to see how the wave 4 does react. Based on this, target for the fourth would be, depending on when we reach it, but maybe around 22k, yeah, depending on when we reach it. So I'll leave that on the chart. And that's sort of where we are, and hope you enjoyed the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.